Hello everyone and welcome to this video where today in Adobe Illustrator we're going to do the project of creating new collages. So let's not waste any time and get right into it. So over here you can see that after I've loaded up my Adobe Illustrator program, it is asking me which type of document I want. Now I wanted to show you this because if you're trying to create a collage, if you want to use it for the internet or in your computer, always choose the web option over here. But if you're trying to print it, then choose the print formats, okay? Now I'm going to choose the print format because I want to print this collage. Let's select A4 size, landscape orientation, and then in preset details, I want it to be known as collages. Okay, now that we're done, let's go ahead and put our collage format in pixels, and let's select the width to be 1000, or let's make it 900. So let's put it in just over here, and this one I want it to be 600. Okay. All right, now that I'm done, I will select only one number of artboards and then make sure it's in CMYK color, and in raster effects I just want it to be medium. Okay, and then I'll press on the create button. All right, afterwards you'll see that we have our collage artboard ready, and let's do the first thing, which is basically make a rectangle. Now you can choose the rectangle tool over here from the left side, or you can use the keyboard shortcut M. Okay, let's go ahead and choose the rectangle tool from our keyboard, and then just press shift, then create a square, and afterwards let's add a color fill to this. So let's say the color will be red. Okay, and afterwards let's say we don't need any stroke. You'll just going to use the selection tool, press and hold the Alt key, copy this, make sure I press shift so that it copies it directly to the left side. Press shift again and then make it small to about this much size. Put it right beside it by holding shift. Okay, afterwards what I'm going to do is basically change its color. Press OK. Then we're going to use the rotate tool over here. Take the center, okay, double click it and bring it towards our bigger rectangle center. Let it go. All right, then I'm gonna press Alt and then double click on this. Afterwards I'm going to put in 90 degrees over here. Okay, just 90 degrees. Then I'm going to press on copy. Okay, my bad. Let's try that again. Take the center. Press Alt, double click. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, over here, first we have to go and select this. Then press R on your keyboard to select the rotate tool. Press Alt on your keyboard and then click on the center of this rectangle. Afterwards, we will type in 90 degrees over here. So 90, press copy. And afterwards, you'll see that there's a new rectangle over here. Let's just press Ctrl D afterwards to copy it in all directions. Okay, now that we're done, let's go ahead and show you how to make a different type of design over here. Since I already created this, I will just press Ctrl Z to undo all of them. let's use this tool over here and say I want to intersect it on the top. Okay. Then using R again, press the Alt key and then make sure that it's in the center over here. Okay. Click on that, press on 90 on the angle, press copy. Okay, then I'll just press Ctrl D. This is how we can create different type of collages, designs. Okay. Afterwards, what I'd like to do is basically select all of them. Okay. Move them to a different position, press Alt, and then copy it again. Now I want to paste my picture just like my collage design, just like this. Okay. Afterwards, let me select both of them again. And this time, using the rotate option for them, I'll just do this. Okay. Now that I'm done, let me make it a bit smaller by pressing and holding Shift. Okay. Now I am going to rotate it a bit more so that it looks a bit diagonal. Okay, now every square over here has like a diamond shape, which I just wanted. Now after that, okay, now what we're going to do is basically align them with our artboard. So I'll go to window over here and select align. After that, I'll make sure I select all of them over here, right click, group. Okay, then afterward I need to make sure I select align to artboard over here, then select vertically and horizontal align so that they're directly in the center. Okay, press Shift Alt and hold it with your keyboard while dragging to adjust the size so that it reaches the artboard. Done. Okay. All right. Now afterwards, we have to click on this select ungroup. And to make our work a bit easier, we have to select each square over here and change their color so that we can differentiate each square. Okay, now that I'm done, I'll go over here and then basically select the stroke to be none for now. Okay. Now what we'll do first over here is bring up the layers panel, okay, right over here. Right. And then if you click over here, you can see that every rectangle that I have made is present over here. Okay. And then I want, now what we'll do is basically first select a rectangle or a square over here. Okay. After we select one, we'll just go over here and lock the rest of the rectangles. Okay. All right. Afterwards, what we need to do is basically go to our toolbar over here and select draw inside. Now, after doing that, you will see that I have a border over here. Okay. Now, Illustrator is asking me afterwards what you want to draw inside. So in order to do that, go to File, then go to Place. Okay. And here you can see that, that the shortcut is Shift plus Control plus P. Select that. Okay, then you just go to the place where you have your files. For me, I have my files over here, so let's select this photo over here first, and then make sure you click on link and then place. Okay. Afterwards, draw a box around this basic draw inside box. Okay, then you'll see the photo appear, and then you can easily adjust the photo. You can even resize it, but you have to make sure your photo covers the draw inside. Okay, the draw inside border. All right, after you're done, okay, you can just be done with it. Now we have to lock it in our layers. Okay, and then we are done with the first photo over here, as you can clearly see. Now for our second photo, I'll select the light blue color square, but you can see that if I select it, it doesn't work. We have to go over here, select the lockout toggle. After that, we will just select this and then select draw inside again. Okay, go to file, place, and then this time, let's say I put in Japan 2. Draw a rectangle or square around it. Okay, then place your photo inside it. Okay, and afterwards make sure to lock it in so that you can't change it anymore. Okay, now afterwards we'll do the same process, which will continue for all of these squares. Okay, now afterwards I'll select the rest of the squares. For now, I'll select the dark blue square. So make sure you release the lock over here in the toggle lock section. Select it, draw inside, Control Shift P. Okay, and then select the next photo. But before I select a new photo, what I'd like to do is go back over here. Okay, and here you can see that we have the new photo over here. So let's move it from here. Okay, now we have our rectangle selected, and afterwards, if you want to like go place, let's say this time I put in New York photo here, place. Now you can see that since I didn't select draw inside, it just did outside. So make sure you select draw inside, and then Control Shift P to place. Select New York picture or any picture. There you go. And then afterwards, if you want to change your photo again, you can just go over here, and you can see that we have a linked file selection. Click on that, select relink, and then you can select another photo if you want to. For example, let's select this, let's place it. You have to make sure that the photo covers all of the borders over here. Okay, and then let's just lock this in. Okay, now we are done. Now let's do the rest of the photos over here. Since I want to do with the dark rectangle, select that, draw inside, Control Shift P, select this one. Okay, then lock this part. Afterwards, let's do the orange one. Select it, draw inside, and Control Shift P. Okay, lock it in. Let's select the dark green. Now we have 2 squares remaining. Let's finish it. Again, if you select Ctrl Shift P over here, you can just place instead of going to File and selecting it many times. Okay. Lock it in. Now let's select the last one over here. Draw inside. Ctrl Shift P. Okay, then lock it in. All right, now you can see that this is how our photos look like. Now afterwards, we have to go to the place over here, but before that, we need to unlock everything. Okay, and then in the layers over here, we'll create another layer. So let's create another layer. Okay, and here we will put it as white for now. Okay, then we'll just press OK, and then make sure that this layer is over here. Lock this layer. Okay, And in the second layer, what we need to do is basically Control Shift P to place again. And this time we can create a background. So place. And afterwards, let's select this background over here. All right. Just like that. Okay, and this time what I'd like to do is fix the size so that it matches. All right, now what I'd like to do now is basically go over here in properties, or since we don't have transparency over here, let's just go to window, select transparency. Okay, and afterwards you will see the transparency pop up over here. Let's put it there. Okay, now here I want to basically select this and let's say change the opacity to about 60. Okay, and now that we are done, all right, let's go back to layers over here, and then we'll create a new layer. So click on the three lines over here, select new layer, press OK, and this time let's put it over here. And then for this layer, and then we have to make sure that we have unlocked everything. Okay, then we will create a rectangle over here. So select the rectangle, make sure that it covers the artboard, just like that. Let's do it again. Okay, now after doing that, make sure it is on the first layer over here and make sure this is in the second over here. Okay, now what we'll do is basically press Control 7 on our keyboard. Remember, it's Control 7. Okay, now you can see that it cannot make a clipping mask, so we have to select everything, press Control A to select everything, and then press Control 7. And after that, you will see that we have created a clipping mask. Okay, now what I'd like to do is select this layer, go to transparency, and then I have to make sure that it's at 100%. Okay, let's do this again. I must make sure that over here the transparency is okay. There you go. Now you can see that we have created our collage. Okay, so this is how you create collages. Okay, I'm going to go over here again and then select transparency, make sure it is turned to like this much over here. All right, then again go to layers, lock this, create a new layer, go back up here. Okay, make sure the layer is on top, select the rectangle tool, create a rectangle over here. Make sure it intersects your artboard, then unlock all of them. Press Ctrl A, select all of them, then press Ctrl 7 to make a clipping mask, and now we are done. As you can see over here, since before I put the layer over here and then I put the first layer over here, it was totally transparent, okay, but now it's perfect. Okay, so this is how you basically make a collage, right? If I now use the selection tool, you can see that the whole thing over here is like a complete photo. All right. Now, if you wish to add a shadow effect on these photos, go to the layer over here, select the layers that only have like a shadow, okay? That only have like a photo. Press Shift while selecting them. Okay. Now, afterwards, what we need to do is go to Effects. Okay. So now go to Effects, then go to Stylize, select Drop Shadow. Okay, afterwards, you can see that it already dropped a shadow. You can increase the opacity from here. And then we can go over here and select our offsets. And then over here, if you select preview, it will give you a preview. Then if you select darkness, okay, we can go over here and change the darkness percentage. Let's say I put it at 67% and give us a preview. Okay, instead of darkness, I just want to put color, and let's press on OK. Afterwards, now you can see that we have a drop shadow effect on our photos. Okay, now what we're going to do is basically type text in our image over here, okay? Now let's say I want to type a text over here. Okay, I'll just go over here, select the pen tool, okay, and select the pen tool over here, and then make sure before you do that, lock in all your layers, okay, except for the last one. And then over here, what I'd want to do is create a point from here to here, right? Afterwards, I can just go over here, select it with my selection tool, and then afterwards, make sure you use the text tool over here, right click and select type on a path tool, okay? Then select this path, and over here, we will go ahead and basically increase the font size. Okay, let's select a font style. All right, then afterwards, what I need to do is basically type in our text. Okay, now let's go back over here. Select a smaller font size and make sure my color is different so that it can be visible. Okay. After that, we can select this and then put it anywhere. So you can clearly see, okay? So that is how you type over here. If you want to make it bigger, we can do that also. Press Shift while you try to make it big. And then here you go, we are done. Okay, so you can also add multiple text over here, but I don't want to waste your time in this video. So that was all for this lesson. I hope you've understood how to create a collage using Adobe Illustrator in this video. So thank you for watching this project, and I'll be seeing you in the next project as well.